I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everyone, honorable educators and member of the House. Today, I stand firmly to oppose the motion. This House, as parents of a prodigy child, will prioritize lucrative career over non-lucrative patient. There is something emotionally appealing about the government's case today. They tell us that patient is sacred, the talent must always be followed, and that parents who intervene are somehow betraying their child. But this debate cannot be judged based on sentiment alone, because when the oppose fades, when competition ends, when scholarship disappear, and when the market no longer values the talent, the child still to live a real life. And that is where the opposition stands. We believe that parenting is not simply about nurturing dreams. Parenting is also about minimizing preventable suffering. It is about making sure your child has security, dignity, and option in adulthood. So our stance today is simple. Prioritizing a lucrative path doesn't mean destroying a children's talents. It means ensuring that talent exists on top of stability, not instead of it, because a gift should become a source of freedom, not a lifelong financial burden. Before moving into my argument, let me first respond to the government. First, they create a false dichotomy between money and fulfillment. The government speak a through lucrative careers in unhealthy and miserable, while artistic or niche careers are automatically meaningful. That is unrealistic. A gifted child who excels in music, chess, or athletics usually possesses discipline, intelligence, and emotional depth. Those qualities are transferable. They can still fund fulfillment and medicine, engineering, technology, academic, or law. Human beings are capable of loving more than one thing. Second, they romanticize struggle. The government keeps portraying financial hardship as some noble sacrifice for patients. But in reality, instability destroys people. When someone constantly worries about rent, debt, healthcare, or family obligation, patience becomes exhausting instead of liberating. A child who once loved painting may eventually resent it because every artwork now determines whether they can eat next month. Poverty doesn't preserve creativity. Very often, it suffocates it. Third, they misunderstand self-actualization. They argue that happiness only comes for pursuing the patient itself as a career. But self-actualization is impossible without safety. You cannot meaningfully pursue fulfillment while constantly living in fear or financial collapse. Security is not the enemy of dreams. Security what allows dreams to survive long enough to matter. Now, we're going to the argument. My first argument is about the basic moral responsibility of parents. Parents are not investors gambling and a child's expectations. Parents are guardians, and guardians must prepare their child not only for success, but also for failure. Because the truth is non-lucrative individuals are brutally unpredictable in fields like classic art, professional sport, or niche creativity industry. Success is constantly in an extremely tiny percentage of people. You can be extraordinary and still fail financially. A brilliant talent may never get institution of support. A talent athlete may suffer an injury and lose everything. A gifter, a gift writer may spend years producing excellent work that simply doesn't sell. Talents alone is never enough. There are too many external variables: market trends, networking, social privilege, timing, algorithm, sponsorship, even luck. And that uncertainty becomes dangerous when your entire future depends on it. The government asks parents to place all of their child's future on a high-risk path with no quantitative need. We refuse to do that. Instead, we prioritize a path where the child's intelligence and discipline can generate long-term financial stability, because stability matters. Not everyone can emotionally survive years of instability. Not everyone can keep creating while understand economic pressure. A secure life is not a shallow goal. For many people, it is the foundation that allows them to stay mentally healthy, independent, and hopeful. Our second argument is perhaps the most important one in this debate. We are not destroying patience, we are protecting it from becoming survival labor. When patience becomes the only source of income, it changes. The artist no longer creates freely. The athlete no longer trains purely for love. Everything becomes transactional. Suddenly, every performance must make money. Every project must attract attention. Every failure becomes financial catastrophic. That pressure destroys joy. And eventually, many prodigies burn out, not because they lack talent, but because they were forced to monetize every part of themselves too early. But under our model, the child gains something powerful: financial independence. Imagine a successful doctor who still loves music, but they buy instrumental, travel for performance, fund independent projects, and continue creating without picking the market for validation. They can reject exploitative contracts because they are not desperate. That is freedom. Meanwhile, under the government model, the child becomes dependent on whether the market continues to reward their patience. And markets are cruel. We believe patients survive best when it is protected from desperation. Substantive argument. That is my third substantive argument, giving the child more choice, not favor. Finally, let us discuss autonomy. Erroneously, the government talks consistently about freedom, but their model actually traps the child into a one path. If a prodigy spends their entire youth focusing only on a niche, unstable field, they may eventually realize they want something different. But by then, they may lack transferable experience, professionally flexibility, or financial resources. They become stuck. Our model creates the opposition outcome. The lucrative career creates more mobility. It gives the child savings, network, qualification, and the ability to pivot later in life. If at age 35 they decide to dedicate themselves fully to art, music, or athletics, they still can. Because they have research, because they have security, because they were given option instead of dependency. The government offers emotional intelligence, yet we overlive long gain power. And in the real world, having choice matters far more than chasing a romanticized version of passion. And in the conclusion, at the end of this debate, the question is simple: what does it truly mean to support a child? It's encouraging them pursue passion regardless of consequences, or it's making sure they can live safety, independently, and with dignity for decades to come. We believe parents should not merely nurture talent; they should protect the person who carries it. Because brilliance means very little if it comes with instability, exhausting, and fear. So, no, we don't reject patience. We simply refuse to sacrifice a child's future for an idealistic fantasy of it. And for those reasons, the opposition proudly stands against the word motion. Thank you.